So I hope everyone is well. Today I wanted to show you guys kind of a cool concept, and this is this idea that there are celebrities out there who are part of your soul group. Yeah, so I'm going to go through some of my own celebrity soulmates, and I know that there's going to be people who think that I'm crazy or think that I don't know, I'm better than everyone because I have these celebrity soulmates, but you have them too, and it's just like reality for me. Everything I show you in these videos is just my reality. But so, oh my gosh, my hair. Okay. Um okay, so I'm going to show you all of the different types of celebrity soulmates you can have. And yeah, just like humor me for this video. Um, okay, so this is the idea that some of us are connected to a soul group in a higher realm. This could be like a group of angels. Could also be like a more advanced, like star race, things like that. There are lots of possibilities. What you could be in a higher form, but so in my experience, there are um, maybe like 4 or 5 different types of soul mates, and they all kind of like have different. It's like they're different degrees of soulmates. So let me just go through them for you, and I'm going to show you examples, of course. So more often than not, when you have a celebrity soulmate, or any soulmate actually, but I'm just talking about celebrities here, they will be the same star race as you. So it's always hard to just explain these things, but there are higher planes of existence that have all these different types of beings who at some points have existed on the earth, like in the far past. But right now, because we're so dense, we just can't see any of these beings. But I'm here to tell you that pretty much all of us are existing simultaneously as these beings right now. We just don't realize it because the energy here is so heavy and we're just so cut off from knowing. But a lot of us have actually brought just like a piece of our consciousness down to this um, earth earth realm. But meanwhile, we're like living lives in other realms. It's fine. I know it sounds kind of freaky, but to me, this is very true. So there are some celebrities out there who have lived or are living right now in the same communities as you, in higher planes, in other realms, maybe even in worlds that are like totally outside of this universe. Okay, so these celebrities are just the same star race as me, which is. Am I really going to say this? Okay. Which is like these, like, kind of winged lions. I don't make the rules. It was just. So yeah, they're like these kind of like lion bird people. I guess you could maybe call them like griffins. Um, so one example of a celebrity who's living in as one of these um, lion bird beings is Amelia Earhart. So with her, when I see her, I just kind of have this recognition of she's the same star race as me. I don't I don't get this feeling that we've lived past lives together or that we're part of the same family or we're like really close. It's very much it's very much just like she's just the same, yeah, just like the same type of race as me. So I have this kind of like, hello, like I know you have like a similar vibe to me. And that vibe is because of the star race. All right. Another example of this is Terrence Howard. So when I see him, it's the exact same thing as Amelia Earhart. He's the same winged lion race. And when I say that they're this star race, like that's not the only thing they are. I'm just saying, like, in relation to me. So they could be other beings as well. I'm just, yeah, just want to make that clear. So, yeah, Terrence Howard, another example where I just see him and I'm just like, okay, we're the same star race. And if you're the same star race, it usually means that you're also connected to the same color ray. And because of that, you could be connected to the same archangel and the same like higher being. Like there are these like bigger kind of like ascended masters or like archangels who are kind of in charge of certain groups, like star races and as well as elemental groups. I really hope this is all making sense. Okay, so in the next type of celebrity soulmate you might come across is someone who is your same star race and who you have met in a past life. So it's very common for you to come across your star race members in this earth plane. It's just kind of how it works. And you when you meet each other, you have this recognition, maybe you become friends, maybe you trigger each other, maybe you join together to do like a project together. So an example of one of these people for me is Howard Ashman. And I've mentioned him before. I'll link the video where I talk about him a bit more. But with him, I recognize that he's the same star race as me. And I just have this knowingness that I have lived some lives with him. Um, he worked on Broadway in his most recent life, and I also, in my most recent life, was like involved with Broadway. So, which is why like I'm so obsessed with it and so drawn to it. Um, so yeah, like I remember when I saw him on this documentary, there was a whole documentary made about him, and when I saw him, I'm like, okay, I feel like I know this person. I feel like I've lived lives with this person and I feel like he's part of like my immediate like close family. I actually feel like I'm like his mom or something. Yeah. Anyways, so this could be like from like lifetimes way back, not necessarily the last life, but it's interesting how we are both I was a lyricist. I've like written lyrics for musicals and he also writes lyrics for musicals. So sometimes you'll kind of like pick up where one of your soul members left off, or you're kind of using um, you're meant to see their art and like their story to help you in your soul development. Mm-hmm. Another example of someone who I am the same star race as and have like this kind of familial, like family type connection to is Stephen Sondheim. Anyone who knows me knows that I like, if I can meet any famous person, like dead or alive, it would be him. Like 100%. I just like love all of the music and his musicals that he's written. And yeah, when I look at him, I recognize actually that he's like a higher ranking member of like my star race, and that he's actually like he's kind of like a captain. Like sometimes we have in like the star race groups, there are these like higher ranking captains. You could also see this as like being more royal, and I believe like in the higher planes, when you're more royal, it doesn't mean what it means here, where like you're born into like a family and you're accidentally royal. Like, no. In the higher planes, it's, I feel like it's more about how much spiritual power you can like hold within your singular vessel within this particular construct that we're in. So within this particular game that we're in. So yeah. Okay, and another example of a celebrity soulmate could be you're the same star race, you've had past lives together, and they are your spirit guide. Okay. And my example for this is Bob Fosse. He's also a member of the Broadway community, so it's no mistake that common like star races or certain star races and elemental groups will kind of like convene in certain industries. So it's no mistake that like I grew up very, very drawn to the work of Howard Ashman and Bob Fosse. Like in high school, I was obsessed with Bob Fosse and his choreography, and no one around me seemed to care. This was like a very random thing that I just kind of latched onto. So, wow, I'm really like sweating because it's so hot today. So yeah, so with him, when I look at him, I have the knowingness that we're the same star race, which we are. I also mentioned him in that video that I'll link below, where I mentioned Howard Ashman as well. I have this kind of knowingness that I have lived lives with him, so I've had past lives knowing him. Could have been my last life on Broadway, or it could have been way before that. Also with him, sometimes when I go deep into meditation, I get like interaction from family members who have passed. And it's funny because I'll get like my grandpa kind of coming around, like just kind of saying hello. And I also get Bob Fosse saying hello. And this was before I even started to get into all of this energy reading stuff. And then I find out that like we have very similar coding. We're the same star race, like things like that. So that's pretty weird. And I've also seen Bob Fosse several times, like in the astral. And whenever I see him there, he like runs right up to me and he's like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're Bob Fosse." He's like, "Yeah." He's like so like excited that I know who he is. Yeah. Um, and this, like, I was getting these kind of interactions even like when I wasn't even like that familiar with him as well. Like, which is very strange. Some of my first like spiritual experiences involved him. So, yeah, it could be that he's, since he's part of the same star race as me, therefore the same like color ray and probably the same archangel, that he, I'm like one of the people that he's like maybe guiding, or I'm supposed to discover his art as a way for me to um, move forward in my journey. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. Okay, I'm almost done this video though. So, um, okay, this is the final type of celebrity I'm going to talk about, and it's not for the faint of, or sorry, this is the final celebrity soulmate that I'm going to talk about, and this is not for the faint of heart. It's very like activating when you discover these people. It's kind of like discovering a piece of yourself in another body, which can be very freaky. Um, but so I have discovered it's pretty freaky, honestly. But so I've discovered this one kind of a celebrity. He's a journalist who was well known in Toronto in like the early 1900s, and his name is Gordon Sinclair. He's obviously the same star race as me, and he basically has like identical coding to me. So he's basically me if I was a guy, and I actually even think that I was him. Or like my sister, actually, she's psychic as well, and she said, I was asking her, I'm like, what is with this? This is like so weird. And she said that he has the same coding as me, and he's guiding me. He's like one of my guides. So it's pretty strange because when I look at his picture, I actually can't look at it for very long because it makes me, um, all these emotions will just come up simultaneously, kind of similar to what happens when you meet a twin flame or like a very, very high level soulmate. And yeah, so with him, if I like look at, there's some videos of him, and when I look at it, I'll just kind of get like teary eyed, like against my will. And actually, my twin sister will also have the same reaction. She's like, Jen, this is you. Like, this is so freaky. Um, Even like when I hear him talk, I actually feel like I'm saying the words. And this has happened before with like other people, but with him, like it's very, very strong. I'm like, wow, this is so crazy and so interesting. Um, so yeah, with him, we also have some very weird similarities. So we both live in the same city. We both um, work. So like my other job when I'm not doing this spiritual stuff is writing documentaries for a YouTube channel that focuses on kind of like exposing the government specifically about like toxins in the food and in the water. And one thing that Gordon Sinclair was known for was the exact same stuff. Like he was one of the first people in Canada to talk about fluoride in the water and how fluoride is actually bad. And like no one was talking about it at the time. And the first idea that I pitched for this channel that I work for was fluoride in the water. I don't know why I picked it. I was just like, I wasn't necessarily always interested in it. I think I just wanted to know more about it and it seemed like a good story. So, yeah, there's one example. Also, he traveled to Asia and took like this long trip to Asia when he was 32. And this was the first time he's ever been to Asia. And the first time I ever went to Asia was age 32 as well. Um, he grew up on the street, the same street in Toronto where I'm the first person who ever psychically activated me lived on the same street around when I was like 25. So, yeah, there are definitely some parallels. And this kind of thing is, I don't totally know what it means, but this is like one of the closest celebrity soulmates I've ever discovered. And the way I discovered it was actually like my sister psychically found him for me, but I don't necessarily recommend that you go looking for this because it's like putting like a twin flame experience onto yourself. And if you're not ready to like feel those emotions, then it could be very overwhelming and it could like almost scare you, I find. So, all right. And there's one more type of celebrity soulmate that I am going to include in the blog post below so you guys can check that out if you want. And I give like an example of one more of my celebrity soulmates within that category. So there you go. Hopefully this was helpful for you in some way. And I definitely don't want people to think, oh, if I don't know my celebrity soulmates, like, what am I going to do? You don't need to find your celebrity soulmates. A lot of this is just me kind of piecing together like the way this construct or this universe works. That's like my motivation always for the kind of stuff that I do. I'm not ever telling you that you're like this. I'm never telling you that you need to connect with anything outside of yourself to like develop spiritually. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. It's just fun for me. And I think if you're coming across this type of content, then maybe it's something that could benefit your spiritual journey. I also find that knowing my celebrity soulmates, I'm able to look at their life and see the lessons that they learned. And like, lo and behold, I end up learning the same thing. It's almost like I'm like carrying on their story and like adding to it almost. So that's how it can be helpful. But of course, yeah, the most important thing is that you're living well and not like, and like feeling empowered within your own spirit. So there you go. So I'm going to put the link to the blog post below. Okay. Thank you. I know this was long. I'm going to like spray some cold water on myself because it's just so crazy hot. All right, talk to you later.